Now, I am not a reviewer. However, sometimes something comes into your possession that you just need to share with the world. This is a Venom horse. Kind of a weird thing to own. Clearly inspired by the latest Venom movie. Now, where'd I get this? It was a gift for me that was bought off of Aliexpress. And right off the bat, to get this out of the way, I will say it is approximately within the 6-inch scale. It'll probably fit with your Marvel Legends. Here's a Star Wars The Black Series Snow Trooper next to it. That seems horse-esque to me. We'll get a few more bits with Venom here in a minute, but just taking a look at this thing, the sculpt is pretty solid. Now, it's nothing crazy. It kind of looks like it was just coated in hot glue and painted black, but, I mean, it's Venom. It's tenderly. I think that works for what we're going for here. The head is probably the most interesting bit here. We've got these nice jagged teeth, and then right up on there, we have this tongue, and that's actually magnetic. At least on this head it is. So you can remove that if you don't want the tongue, or you can angle it to the left, forward, or right to whatever degree you'd like. Excellent inclusion. Now, it is worth saying that the eyes are a little scuffed. The paint, this is an Aliexpress knockoff for all intents and purposes. The paint is not going to be perfect. You might need to take a little magic eraser to it. You might need to take some paint of your own to it. But for what it is, especially from a distance, that's a Venom horse. That is unmistakably a Venom horse. You can see the mane detail up here. Very nice. We'll get to some of that tenderly goodness at the end. But big point of contention for me is the articulation and how it's divided up. Now, proportionally, this looks pretty good. But what keeps bugging me is this big gap right here. And I'm torn on it because, on one hand, you get some okay rotation here. Like, look at that. That's pretty decent. Combined with the ball joint at the top of the head, you can get some horse-esque motion, I suppose. Pretty neat. But it does have this big ugly gap, which might bug some people. Next, we're going down here to the legs. Surprisingly nice and solid. These joints are ratcheted here at the front, so give you some decent range. And then these, they're not ratcheted, but they are nice and tight. You can hear that squeak, kind of like a Diamond Select figure. So it's going to stand nice and sturdy for you. Here at the back, the upper thigh is on a ball joint, so you get a little out, but not much. Another of those disc joints here with a few ratchets. Oh, it's very squeaky. And some more squeaky goodness out of these joints as well. It's about the range there. The tail is exceptional. We've got what I guess you could call like a figure arch joint or something. It's kind of just a ball joint where you can angle the tail pretty much any direction you'd like. Get it really flowing in the wind behind it. There is a curvature to it, so I would watch that. This tends to be the best if you want it angled down the most for a neutral position. But say if you want it up a little bit more, you could go the other direction with it. Very dynamic, very great. Love the tenderly motif both here and here. But that's not all, because this figure comes with accessories, and unfortunately, I can't really show them to you because I can't get this head off. So I will just show you real quick. We have this completely different shaped head with a nice long tongue that's running in the wind, very reminiscent of the scene in the movie. Eyes are a lot smaller here, nostrils are way bigger. A very odd head to include. Like I said, I would show you this on the figure. I cannot, for the life of me, get that off, and I do not want to break it. And then we have a more odd inclusion. Smaller eyes again, almost a thinner nose, but other than that, it's kind of just a weird inclusion. I don't really know why you'd use this over the head with just the magnetic tongue. Because, I mean, you get this in here. This is great. You can kind of get some of that trailing behind you action, not as well. I see the appeal here. But I just don't think it's worth breaking this head enough to try and swap this on. So I'm not really going to include these when I determine whether or not this is a good value. The accessories are kind of extra to me. What we're here for is this. This is what looks the most like the movie. This is, in my opinion, the best form of the figure, especially with this tongue. Such a neat extra feature. Couple of notes. One, like I said before, this is a bootleg, so your QC is gonna vary. I got lucky with mine. I think this is very good for what it is, but there is always a chance you get kind of a shitty one, and if that's the case, you could maybe try and repaint it. I have a couple scuffs marks here. I'm gonna try and fix when I'm home next. So there is always that. This is running for about $30 to $40 on Aliexpress at the moment. Is this worth that price? I might have to say yes, or at least close to it. If we get the Marvel Legends Venom in here again, exceptional figure if you don't have it. This is the latest release. Look at the scale here. It's huge. If you already have this figure, you know it's pretty big. But let's get the Black Series Mandalorian in here as well. This is their newest version, I think. That's a pretty good scale for just a regular horse. Maybe it's a little big, but I mean, it's got the symbiote tendrils and whatnot adding size to it. So if you want to stick this in with Hasbro Marvel Legends, maybe even SH Figuarts, it's kind of perfect to do so. Overall, I might have to give this thing like a 9 or even a 10 out of 10 for a bootleg, because again, not licensed, so if that's an issue for you, if you don't want to give money to these companies, totally understand that. For what this is, I think they kind of cook something up here, and I heavily recommend this figure. If you see it on Aliexpress, especially if you've got any coupons this holiday season, pick one up. They're worth it, and we don't have a lot of movie Venom figures, so it'll help flesh out your little display. That's all. Have a great rest of your day.